guys, what's up? It's Joe Raiti from Raiti's Rides. I'm back here at Walker Ford in sunny Clearwater, Florida. And you might say to yourself, hold on a second, haven't we already seen a 2019 Mustang GT? And guess what? You're right, but what we're gonna do is we're gonna break it down and we're gonna make you become a Mustang expert to separate just your standard Mustang GT compared to the Performance Pack Level 1. What's wonderful about the Mustang is you could go every which way from Sunday. It's like Baskin-Robbins, 31 flavors of different ways to style this car, different ways to have it perform in a difference from other models on the road. And it'll allow you to stand out and be part of the club, but also have your unique flavors. So what we're gonna do is we have this Shadow Black Mustang GT. This is a standard GT compared to the silver Performance Pack Level 1. Now stay tuned, because here at Walker Ford, come a couple weeks, we're going to be doing the Performance Pack Level 2. So let's go ahead and dive right into this Shadow Black 2018 Mustang GT, 2019 Mustang GT. So for 2018, it was changed. They redesigned the front and the rear of the car. This one has the blackout package. You can see the way the black accent of the pony. Now, when you go Mustang GT, all GTs are going to have this same style grille finished in the gloss black. It works really well with the black paint on the car, and you can see that it already comes from the factory with a lower lip spoiler. When it comes to differences, let's go ahead and see what's happening at the front end, because everything else is the same, but on the Performance Pack, here's gonna be your #1 difference. Believe it or not, this is actually a longer lower lip spoiler. So the lower lip spoiler is gonna come out. That's gonna help produce more downforce on the front of the car and also scoop more air into that radiator. And what's wonderful about the Performance Pack is that the radiator is actually larger. Now, if you're wondering, well, why would they do that? It's to actually increase cooling. That brings down engine temp. That increases performance. So other than that, from the front of the car, when it comes to the hoods and the nose, the only difference visually is that this is wider than on the standard GT. Once you pop the hood, you'll see that the radiator is larger, because that's what it's all about. It's about things being larger to give you more performance. Let's go ahead and take a look at the sides of these two Mustangs and see what's different. All right, guys, when it comes to a Mustang GT, really love the lines because it ties in 21st century all the way with the classic lines of the original Mustangs, going all the way back to the 1960s. As we come around, I really like just how the headlight housing, very slim, very trim, wraps around into this fender area. This is a nice style wheel. It's a 19-inch wheel. So these wheels, like I said, you could get a base Mustang GT that has an 18-inch wheel. This one's a 19-inch wheel. I like the design of it, and I like the gloss black. You have your standard 4-piston caliper there, just finished in sort of like a gray, flat gray color. Nothing too fancy going on. As we go down the side, because this one has the blackout accent package, it's got the 5.0, totally darked out, matching with the sinister black, and just love the Fastback design of this 2019 Mustang GT all the way into the rear portion. And I think it's nice to see that the design is carried over into the other trim levels, which makes it really nice. One thing I want to point out is even on the base GT, you do get this lower sill area, which also adds aerodynamics, but also gives it more of an aggressive look from the outside. Let's go ahead and see what's happening in Performance Pack Level 1 land over there. Let's go check it out. All right, guys, let's see what you're getting performance-wise for your money with the Performance Pack Level 1. So similar lines like we talked about. You have that wider lip spoiler. As we come into the fender area, this is where the magic starts to happen. So that's a 19-inch wheel. Now, I know you're probably saying, well, Joe, hold on a second. On the other Mustang, those had 19-inch wheels as well. Those were not standard wheels. Difference though, 19 inches in diameter, these wheels are actually wider. Wider wheel, wider tire, gives you more contact patch to grip the road, because that's performance doesn't necessarily have to mean higher top speed. It could be handling. And with this 19-inch wheel, nice and wide, wrapped in those really grippy Michelin Pilot Sport 4S tires, check out the caliper. We're going from a 4-piston caliper to now a 6-piston Brembo Brakes setup. Underneath those fenders, you can't see it, but they've increased the stiffness of the springs. and also some of the steering geometry. So what that's gonna do for you is when you're doing, you say, your track day or your autocross event and the weight is shifting around, that's gonna help you keep the tires more planted to the ground, give you better feedback behind the wheel. That's performance. As we go down the side, there's that traditional chrome 5.0, 5-liter, 460 horsepower engine underneath the hood. Same distinctive lines. Now, one area I'm gonna zonk that I wish that they would have done is if they went a little wider on the front lip spoiler, I wish they would have just brought this out a little bit more on the Performance Pack Level 1. That would have been a nice change. As we work our way down the side though, the lines stay true to the name, true to the game. Very nice wide fenders to house those meaty pieces of rubber underneath the rear of this car. Speaking of the rear, let's go ahead and check out the tails of these two Mustangs. All right guys, tail end of the Mustang. In 2018, like I said, they did a refresh of the styling outside and inside. Here's that tail area. I love the tri-bar tail lights, especially the way that they, when you put on your turn signals, it's that sequential pattern, really classic, taking it back to the day. This one has a nice low trunk lid spoiler, fits well with the back of the car, and then to wrap out the back, I'm telling you, they really hit the nail on the head by going the quad exhaust tip and by changing the diffuser. That was a big sore spot when they came out with the 2015 Mustang, is that the diffuser kind of looked a little funky the way it was shaped and painted, and then you only had your standard dual exhaust. You have quad tips. Wait until you hear the sound. Amazing on this 2019. Everything blacked out with the GT logo. Very sinister look. Let's go see what's happening at the tail end of that performance pack over there. All right guys, tail end of the business on this 2019 Mustang GT Performance Pack Level 1. Right off the bat, you can see it clear as day. It's hitting you right in the face. You get this beautiful rear trunk lid wing. I love the style. I love the design. It's funny because when I first saw it in magazines all the way back at the end of 2017, I thought it was a little funky looking, but I love the V shape in the center, and I just love the way it wraps around. Very nice look, gives it some personality. There's that gloss black. Because there's no blackout kit on this, you have the chrome GT and then that same quad exhaust. Now, underneath, deep down in there, that differential, the pumpkin back there, when you go manual in the performance pack, you get 373 gears. This one has the 10-speed automatic, so it still remains the 355 gears as in that 10-speed automatic GT non-performance pack. One area I would zonk it is I would like to see a performance pack level 1 emblem. Somewhere here, I think it would just spicing it up a little bit and let people know, hey, you got some extra stuff. If you can't tell from the outside, at least the logo will let you know, hey, you got some extra nice stuff under there. But let's go ahead and check out underneath the hoods of these two Pumas. All right, guys, we got the hoods popped on these two Mustangs. Let's see what is keeping that Mustang horse heart pumping. Underneath the hood is that 5-liter 302 pumping out 460 horsepower. In 2018, that's when they decided to get a little increase. So if you have a 2015 to 2017, these have more horsepower, more torque. If I'm gonna zonk it, I'm zonking that hood prop rod. First of all, it is hot as can be when you go to open up the hood if the car's been running. Second of all, I don't like this engine cover. Way too big, way too hideous. They could have saved themselves money in plastic and just trim this down. Show off the intake plenum, cover up some of the hoses and wires you don't want people to see, and keep it at that. But at the end of the day, you're gonna get ultimate performance. And if you're looking at your MPGs in the city around 16 miles to the gallon, 17 miles a gallon, it all depends on that lead foot of yours. Let's check out the Performance Pack Level 1. So like we said, increased radiator, larger radiator. The biggest thing right off the bat is gonna hit you like a ton of bricks is the strut tower brace. You have an aluminum strut tower brace painted in this beautiful silver. I love the way it says Mustang GT there, and this is gonna help stiffen up the front of the car. Like we pointed out earlier in other videos, you do have two functional heat extractors underneath the hood here. So those are totally functional, show and go. One zonk that I'm gonna give on this one specifically, besides this and that engine cover, I would like to see this one have the power of the Bullet. If you buy a Bullet, you get 20 more horsepower and you get rid of that plastic cover. I would like to see that on the Performance Pack Level 1. Let's go ahead and fire these up and see if they sound any different. right, guys, we're sitting inside the 2019 Mustang GT. Remember, this one is a standard model that has some options, but not that GT performance package. If you haven't been in one of these in a while, you're going to be amazed by the quality. If you're wondering MSRP, this one MSRP is for around $44,000. Let's start with the door panel. I love the leather on the armrest. I love the leather on the back portion of the door, the white contrast stitching, and the nice appointments of silver here and there. Very nice style, very nice to touch, very nice to look at. They really hit the nail on the head. As you transition inside, I love the dual cowl dash. One here for the passenger, one here for the driver. This nice finish. You have your 3 central round AC vents, and this one has the upgraded, not only with the interior, but the infotainment system, where it's a nice size screen. You can control your AC, ventilated seats, heated seats. I love the chrome switch work to go shut off traction control, increase the sensitivity of the steering wheel and everything. It's that fighter cockpit look. Start, stop button is probably one of the best in the industry. I love the red aluminum trim, and this is actually metal, believe it or not. Nice little cubby, USB. This one has the optional 10-speed automatic transmission. This thing can rocket you down the track about 0 to 60 in 4.1 seconds, if you could believe that. 2 cup holders, more of that silver trim. If I'm gonna zonk it, this is where it gets really hard, plastic-wise. Soft, soft, rock hard. Soft again though on the armrest. Actually pretty good size, and it's got a USB and a 12-volt inside. And if you want to go ahead and kind of do a little Dukes of Hazzard move, you got your good old-fashioned e-brake here. Seats, comfy as can be, but also supportive. Not as supportive, say, as a Recaro, but you got pretty good bolstering. I love the leather. I love that they're ventilated, especially here in hot Florida. Why don't you come on over to the driver's side, and I'll show you the business end behind the wheel. Come on over. All right, guys, driver's side, I like the touches. You can see where they're bringing some nicer trim. You got the Mustang logo here. This actually lights up. You can't see it in the day really, but at night it lights up a nice bluish tinge. You have electric on the bottom, manual on the back. I'm gonna zonk that. I wish this had, especially at $44,000, I would like an automatic electric assist on the back of the seat. But bottom portion, really good. It's great to get comfortable in here. You can see how 6 feet tall, 200 pounds. I like how soft and comfy but supported the seats are. Steering wheel. I really wish they would start to update this, and maybe as we go into the next generation, give it a little bit more racy style wheel, but it's a classic looking wheel. Here's the updated Mustang. I know a lot of people aren't really digging the 21st century Mustang, but I like the trim on it. The buttons are kind of kept away from the outside of the ridge, and this one has your traditional analog speedometer, analog tachometer with that digital display in the center. I can adjust steering feel by those little toggle switches that they showed. Also go into the different drive modes, Sport Plus, Track. We gotta see the track only. You gotta see the manual for that. Those types of things, because Ford wants to keep you safe. Drag strip, remember this has line lock. You could do a nice smoky burnout for all your friends. But very, very comfortable, very great place to be. Would like to see just a little few touches, but I'm telling you, they've really raised their game here at Ford in the Mustang. Let's go ahead and check out the Performance Pack one and see what's different. All right, guys, we're inside the 2019, the one with the Performance Pack Level 1. You could see a lot of the same appointments and whatnot. Starting on the door, the leather on the armrest, the leather on the back portion of the door. A little bit different design, and I think that's cool, and that's what I'm telling you is, like, at the end of the day, there's so many different styles going on with these Mustangs that you might think they look the same, but the little touches add up to be big. Let's talk about Performance Pack. What are we getting? You're getting the engine turned aluminum panel here that goes all the way across from passenger to driver. If you notice, you're down to 2 air vents, but what you're gaining is some performance information. Oil pressure, vacuum, that's important stuff when you're flying around a track. If I'm gonna zonk it, I would like to see, if we go back over to that Mustang badge on the passenger cowl, I would like to see a Performance Pack Level 1 badge there. I think it would just add to the specialness when you go to this level of car. Same optioned with the infotainment system. Easy to use, easy to understand. You got the navigation, which is really great, and functioning and whatnot. You can see how easy it is to have it come up. Ventilated, heated seats, you got your nice silver toggle switches, that same start-stop, the cubby, same 10-speed automatic. Everything else in this car is going to be the same until you get to the driver's side, because this Performance Pack Level 1 is optioned with the 12-inch LED digital display. Come over and let me show off this thing. All right, guys, here we are, business end behind the wheel of the Performance Pack Level 1. Wheel, seat, that whole stuff is the same as the GT sitting over there, the shadow black one. This one, though, like I said, has that awesome 12-inch display, all LED, digital, beautifulness. I love the color. I love the font. You can actually, yes, the vehicle's on. Thank you, Ford. You could actually toggle through and change that whole setup with how you have the tach displayed, all that good, important information. This one also has the active exhaust. So what you do is you hit the pony button here on the steering wheel, and you could actually make the exhaust quiet, loud, medium, all that kind of stuff to suit whatever you want to do. If you want to wake your neighbors up at 12 o'clock in the morning because you're coming home and you want to let that V8 rumble roar, leave it in track mode. Nice sound. Let's go ahead, though, sitting here talking about these cars are great. Let's go ahead and take it for a spin. We're leaving Walker Ford, sunny Clearwater, Florida. We're starting with the 2019 Mustang GT non-performance pack. Let me go ahead. I'm going to be quiet. I know that's a new thing, but I'm going to be quiet and step on the gas pedal. So immediately, this thing fires off like a cruise missile. That's what's going on. This is a Tomahawk cruise missile off the deck of a battleship. This thing is a rocket, 460 horsepower with that 10-speed. I don't know if you noticed, but there's not much drama. It just downshifts perfectly where it needs to be and then propels you like a rocket. Love the space in the Mustang GT. Visibility is a huge thumbs up. And if you're cross-shopping this with a Camaro, you're definitely going to notice that right away, that when it comes to blind spots and whatnot, it's actually really great in a Mustang. My one zonk when it comes to mirrors, though, are the side mirrors. They look drop-dead sexy on the outside when you're staring at it in your garage after you just gave it a nice coat of wax. But in everyday use, they're a little on the small side. But I mean, come on, are we going to take mirrors off a F-150 and attach it to a Mustang? That's going to just destroy the lines. But you can see, like we were talking about, in this particular one, it's got the good old-fashioned analog tach, analog speedometer. I love the thickness of the wheel, so comfortable. And what's really cool is that you could actually adjust the steering wheel feel. So I had it in comfort, normal. I'm going to put it in sport, rolling away, great throttle feel, very responsive. As you can see, nice smooth shifts. If you're going to use the paddles on the back portions of the steering wheel, they're a little bit, it takes a little bit to get used to because they're kind of meatier. There's more contact patch a little lower on the paddle. They are plastic, so don't expect some type of titanium or magnesium like they have in the Raptor, but it is lightning quick with the shifts. It does tell you what gear you're in the display, and it just at least offers you the variety. If you want to shift through your 10-speed, you could do that just like the good old days on your bicycle when you were riding to school. But everything else, infotainment screen is great, the space is great, seats, the way that they're ventilated right now on a hot day here in Florida feels really good. And as you can see, sitting at this light, it just purrs like a kitty cat. Nice rumble coming from the exhaust. Ford really hit the nail on the head with retuning the exhaust. That was introduced in 2018 and continues into the 2019 model. When you go to merge, you're off like a rocket. I mean, this thing is just... Remember, this thing redlines at 7,500 RPM. It's that quad cam design that's gonna help really give you the higher revs, especially when you're looking at, say, compared to a Camaro. It's still not as high though as that awesome Voodoo engine in the GT350, 8,000
250 RPM. But I like the way in this car you feel all the power, and it really is nice progressive building and pushes you back in the seat like no tomorrow. AC works great, and if you just want to cruise and take it easy, this car is comfortable as can be, especially for a daily driver. Speaking of that, if you haven't seen our daily driving review of a Mustang GT, the one with the performance pack, believe it or not, definitely want to check that video out. Now, one thing that when we get to the performance pack you're going to notice, especially when we get into a left-hand bend that we're going to take up here, is there is a little bit more flex to the front end and not as much feedback going on. But that's, if you want that, they have that in the performance pack level 1 for you. So I'm going to go ahead and hit the paddles down to third, right around this turn here. Nice, easy throttle, roll on nice and straight, and we're off. And then of course you just got to be aware of drivers trying to maybe cut in front of you and whatnot. So other than that, very, very comfortable. Using the paddles, I'm in 7th, 8th, really nice. Let's try once again just to show some of the performance, and I think that's really the bottom line, is even if you come in with your standard GT, you're going to be getting some great performance from the car. But if you want a little bit more, Ford has you covered. So we're going down 6th, 5th, 4th, 3rd on the brakes. Still great feel from the front end. It's a little soft. Roll on the throttle. Apex, flat on the gas. Insane. Once you get into that 4th, 5th gear, it really propels you like a rocket. And that's the thing, is when we get into the performance pack level 1, overall drag strip time really isn't going to make any difference, because you still got the same power plant, you still got the same gearbox. Where the GT with the performance pack is going to shine is on any type of road course or autocross setup. Let's try this again. I'm having too much fun. 5th, 4th, 3rd on the brakes. Slight throttle, trail brake a little bit, roll it on, come out. Great sound. The sound is worth it just by itself to get this car. I love the sound of that 5-liter underneath the hood. Nice rumble, but it's not too obnoxious, which is great. Like I said, if you want to cruise, then you just cruise like you're not doing anything wrong, officer. But we're going to go ahead and get this Shadow Black GT back to Walker Ford, and we're going to swap keys and take out that silver one and see a little bit of a difference when it comes to the handling, especially on that performance pack level 1. So we'll be right back. Guys, rolling out of Walker Ford, Clearwater, Florida. Here we go. Drops down. Really nice, the power, even from lower down, gets it to the ground. Because remember, you could have 1,000,000 horsepower. You could even have 2,000 horsepower. Because remember, we did drive that Mustang with 2,000 horsepower. Check out that video in my playlist. It's all about getting the power to the ground. And with those 355 gears in this automatic, you're gonna get it down consistently every single time. Now remember, with the GT Performance Pack Level 1, we still have those 19-inch wheels. They are wider, different design, wider wheel, 6-piston Brembo calipers, stiffer springs up front. So yes, the ride is gonna be a little bit, just a little bit more of a harsh ride compared to your standard GT, but you're getting lots of other niceties that are so important to performance, like those 6-piston brake calipers, like those increased contact patches, the Michelin Super Sport 4S tires, that beefed up radiator. You can see in here, like we pointed out, you get the extra performance pack gauges, vacuum, and oil pressure, and then this one is optioned with that 12-inch digital display. Very nicely done by Ford. Really love the quality of it. But I really think, you know, whether you go with this Mustang or a standard one, you're going to be able to have your cake and eat it too. I say go a little bit more and get the performance pack goodies. You know, aesthetically, it gives a little bit of extra oomph to it. Performance wise, you're definitely going to get that extra oomph, especially if you're going to take this to a track day or to an autocross event. Going away from this light, got to be a little careful. It is a Friday traffic kind of day, but with these Mustangs, it's so easy to get out of your own way very quickly. Visibility, great, just like the other one we were in. I say if you can spend the money, I would go with the LED setup. The digital display is just really wonderful, easy to read, and you can change it every which way up to fit your needs, which is really great. But pulling out, the power is just so smooth. You get that initial kick in the back of your seat, and then it just progressively builds and builds and builds and builds, and then before you know it, you look down the speedometer and you're like, uh-oh. But that is what's great about this car, is that it's so much fun to drive, and you could drive it every day, even in the performance pack level 1 setup. I could feel over the transitions a little bit stiffer, especially on the front end. You also have that strut tower brace up there. That's going to stiffen the whole front of the car. I can't wait to get it into our little left bend up here just to feel the difference, because I know with the tires and the suspension, you're going to feel a difference. All right, guys, rolling away, nice and smooth. The 10-speed shifts with such accuracy and just knows immediately where you want to be, depending on what your right foot is demanding from that Coyote V8. You can feel it just a little bit when you're going over little transitions and patchwork. It does have a little stiffer ride to it, something just to take into consideration. But one thing that you are going to love is the Brembo brakes, those 6-piston Brembo brakes. Let's go ahead. I'm gonna drop down here. 4th, 3rd, nice little rumble. Oh, much more solid, better feel. All the way around the bend, out of the turn. Very nice, very smooth, gets the power down, and you feel in control. And that's the wonderful thing about it, is just being in control of the car. But I would love to take this to a track day, to an autocross event, or just a fun curvy road. That's the one thing about Florida, is that we are lacking those curvy fun roads like so many of the rest of you get to enjoy. You can hear the blipping as I'm going down the gears. Rocket ship. That's all I can say about these Mustangs. They are rockets, and you are getting a lot of performance for the money. Definitely want to get down to Walker Ford. As for Tracy, they work some unbelievable magic there when it comes to pricing. They like to move the Mustangs, and they know that Raiti's Rides viewers also love Mustangs, especially to move your body. Like we said earlier, when it comes to MPGs, depending on that lead foot of yours, you're looking around 16 in the city. But that's the thing is that you're driving a legend. Every day you get to start up a Mustang, and all those decades of all the heritage, the racing, just the whole icon of a Mustang you get to enjoy in your garage and out on the streets where you live. But we're gonna go ahead and wrap this up. Hopefully you were able to get enough information to make a better choice depending on which Mustang GT you should park in your garage. So we will see you back at Walker Ford in a split second.
All right, guys, it's been one wonderful day here at Walker Ford. You can see when it comes down to your wallet and it comes to performance and style, many different ways to get your Mustang to suit you exactly the way that you want it. If these are the types of things you like to see on Raiti's Rides, leave a comment in the comment section. Definitely got to give a huge shout out and thank you to Frank Walker, Weston Walker, Tracy, Benji, Mark, Austin, Kevin, Keith, Denise, Greg. Everybody here is a big Raiti's Rides fan and they're just so supportive. If you're new to the channel and you're on your way out, hit that subscribe button. I promise you it's worthwhile coming back. If you are a subscriber, thank you. Thank you for being part of the Raiti's Rides family. If you haven't been to my different social media accounts, check those out. It's all Raiti's Rides original content all the time. If you want some Raiti's Rides merch, click that link in the description, takes you right to Spreadshirt. And then finally, the man of the hour, Tom Moschner, wrestling these two ponies for us, getting them on camera, getting the footage and the angles. Thank you, Tom, for all your hard work. And just like always, guys, I'll see you on the next ride.